I'm glad I made that choice. I love it here.
You love here or love my mom?
Wow, Lily's daughter, Vivian, isn't pulling any punches. Within literally minutes of first meeting her stepdad, she's already asking the difficult questions, but questions that need to be asked. So will her doubts, her skepticism about Josh also rub off on her mum?
Our wedding.
Yes, Friday.
I think let's think. Let's think, keep our counsel.
So, with their Chinese wedding meant to be just days away, everything now hangs in the balance. The truth is, these two have been fighting since Josh arrived in China, so it's not exactly like we didn't see this coming. But, before we get to that, let's rewind to the start. So, the last time we saw the pair, they'd finally made it to the food market to give Jarod a taste of China. And when we join them in this episode, they're getting ready for the arrival of Lily's daughter. But Josh is rather apprehensive about meeting her.
She hasn't always been my biggest fan because there was an issue between Lily and I before we met in person. And Lily, Vivian, and I, we talked about it.
No way! An issue, you say? An issue between Josh and Lily? Surely not. Who could have imagined that? Yeah, I mean, all we ever see with these two is issues, isn't it? Hardly a surprise, but for now at least, we're given no more details about what this issue could be. But boy, is it a big one. Now, we'll get to that shortly. But as Josh and Jarod leave the house to go shopping, Lily, while waiting for Vivian's arrival, tells us a bit more about her daughter. She's 27 years old, which shocked me when I heard that. Lily doesn't look old enough to have a 27-year-old daughter. But she lives in Beijing and she works as an actress. We're very, very incredibly close, Lily tells us. But it's been a while since we've seen each other.
Oh my God！
8个月了吧？
对，不止8个月，我就觉得劳力士，罗拉，
哎呀天，他忘了你了！你看这个，他忘了你了。
Rolex the dog. Interesting name. It sure beats Casio, doesn't it? I'm not really sure how much or if it's worth reading anything into that. But if Vivian is used to designer goods and a life of luxury, she's certainly not gonna be disappointed with her mum's new house. This is the first time that Vivian has seen it in person. And while she's clearly impressed, she's also not sure whether Josh was worth all of this effort.
赵氏现在没有稳定的工作，赵氏在家里也不会帮我妈去分担一些家务什么的，就是理所当然的跟个大爷一样。
Yeah, she's definitely not his biggest fan. But you can see where she's coming from, can't you? Like, she's just looking out for her mum. Given that Josh doesn't work, there are plenty of other ways that he can contribute around the house. But from what we're told, it doesn't really seem like he's been pulling his weight. Now, Vivian takes this opportunity immediately to stick the knife in a little. He's not really helping you much, Mum, she says. And I can't believe you forgave him for that other thing.
你还记不记得之前就是那个越南女的那个事儿？
不过他真的后来向我道歉了。
什么事儿道歉都可以解决的吗？那要警察还要干嘛？
Vivian practically chokes as her mum tries to defend Josh. Now, we all know that Lily and Josh have had plenty of fights during their time together, but this is the first we've heard about a Vietnamese woman. What's this all about? What could have happened? What could possibly be so bad that Josh's apology means nothing to Vivian? Well, it turns out this all started with a social media profile picture. Josh had a photo of himself and another woman.
赵氏说这是他死去的一个朋友，然而后来呢，我们得知这个女生并没有死，而且这个女的是他的当时的女朋友。
That's f***ed. up. No wonder Vivian doesn't like the guy. Who does that? That's the sort of excuse someone comes up with when they're put on the spot and they don't know how to answer. Oh, she's just a friend. She's a friend who passed away. I mean, it's bad. It's unforgivable. And frankly, it's a surprise that Lily forgave him. So how did he manage to worm his way back into Lily's life after that?
他觉得他做了非常后悔的最大的错误，不想孤独嘛，因为他很怕孤独。
他怕孤独。
I'm definitely with Vivian on this one. Just being afraid of loneliness is the worst reason to get back together with someone. And understandably, Lily is now nervous about Vivian and Josh meeting for the first time. Now, the next time we see them is later on that evening. They're meeting at a restaurant and Josh is worried about how this is gonna go.
Tonight's the first night I'm meeting Lily's daughter, Vivian. I am a little nervous because Lily and Vivian are very close, and I don't know if Lily's telling her about her current arguments.
He's right to be worried, but not about the current arguments. It's the past that he needs to be more concerned about. Now, right off the bat, as soon as the formalities, the small talk is out of the way, Vivian wastes absolutely no time in getting straight to the hard questions. How do you feel about your move to China? She begins.
I'm glad I made that choice. I love it here.
You love here or love my mom?
That is the million-dollar question. Is it the unemployed life of luxury you love, or is it my mum? Now, Josh immediately tries to clarify. Of course, I love your mum first, he says. But make no mistake, this has already set the tone for what's to come. If he had any hopes whatsoever that he and Vivian might be able to get along, might be able to start afresh, well, he now knows for sure that that isn't going to happen. No offence, Vivian says to him, but I know all about that woman from Vietnam. Is there anything you have to say for yourself? She asks him.
You know, I dated.
But you lied to her.
Well,
Yeah, you said the woman is died.
well, she was dead to me.
Okay.
And that again seems very much like the excuse you come up with when you've been put on the spot. It's a bullshit excuse, and sorry, but no one's buying it. We all know what you really meant when you said it, and it wasn't that she's dead to you. Now, what makes this whole thing even more confusing is that apparently Josh and Lily weren't together, they weren't a couple when this all happened. So that being the case, why did he feel the need to lie? When he and Lily did get back together and she asked him about that photo, why couldn't he just be honest?
When Lily and I got back together, she mentioned that photo. I did tell her that it was a girl from the past and she's dead. And that's why I posted the photo.
Josh tries to present this as some kind of noble attempt to avoid drama. I didn't tell her the truth because I didn't want her to be angry. We weren't together at the time, he says. But I just don't get it. If you weren't together, why the need to lie? Like, this stupid attempt to avoid drama has now resulted in even more drama. It's made him look like a fucked up guy for lying about the death of someone. But, in good old Josh fashion, he tries to spin this around and blame Lily. She's not innocent either, he tells her daughter. She was also dating someone else when we'd split up. And guess what? She continued messaging this other guy even when we got back together.
She still communicated with him.
就是在你们和好之后呢，你还是跟继续联系，就是一直到11月。
Lily is livid about this. She absolutely denies that this was the case. I stopped speaking to that other guy, she says. Yes, we were kind of in a relationship. We were considering a relationship, But when Josh got back in touch with me, I chose Josh, she says. Now, while it's impossible to know for sure whose version of events to believe, I think, judging by the ferocity of Lily's rebuttal, plus the fact that Josh has been caught out in a horrific lie, her version of events is probably more accurate. Either way, things get even worse from this point onwards. With both accusing the other of being a liar, the atmosphere at the table becomes very heated.
家世, I think you are so terrible.
I told you your daughter is going to try destroying our marriage, and I was correct.
Vivian's shocked and disgusted by that, as well she should be. That's absolutely not what you expect your stepdad to say about you on the very first day you meet him. Like, I get it, right? She was the one that asked the question, but the resulting blow-up, how bad this makes you look, isn't on her. Again, this is a prime example of Josh trying to blame someone else for their problems. Problems they clearly haven't resolved yet. Sorry, but you can't blame Vivian for looking out for her mum. Now, with all of this escalating out of control, it's left to Jarod to call out his brother. You're redirecting this, he says to Josh. Don't blame others for this. Vivian asked a perfectly valid question.
Well, there is no relationship between me and her.
Well, if you marry her mom...
Well, of course we're related, but I don't care if she hates me or, anything else.
You really should care, Josh, because Vivian is the most important person in Lily's life. That matters. Now, the fact that his own brother called him out has clearly upset Josh. He's now clashing with everyone at the table, which is ironic considering he was singing Jarod's praises for giving excellent relationship advice not too long ago. But now his tune has changed. Stay out of my business, he says to Jarod.
But you're disagreeing with everybody at this table.
Well, that's the way it is.
It's the way it is for you, but that's not how relationships work.
I've got a lot of respect for Jarod putting his brother on blast like this, but Josh absolutely hates it. Now, Josh frantically turns to Lily and says to her, I don't give a crap about anyone else. I don't care about my brother, your daughter, the camera crew. This is about me and you. But just look at Lily. She looks ice cold, and it's almost as if Josh hasn't picked up on that. It's as if he expects her to turn around to him and say, don't worry, everything will be fine. Only that is absolutely not what she says.
Our wedding,
Yes, Friday.
I think let's think. Keep our counsel.
Lily isn't happy with how he's lied. She isn't happy with how he's tried to spin things to make her look bad. And she's also not happy with how he's been talking to her daughter. All of this, she tells us, is a huge wake-up call. I don't know if I even want this wedding ceremony anymore.
我真的有点不想进行婚礼了。I always forgive you, but this time I don't.
Josh. Whatever your definition of the word, mate, it looks to me like it isn't your ex-girlfriend who's dead. It's your marriage. If the trust is gone and Lily can no longer forgive him, I don't see how they can possibly come back from this.